Has the behavior of a family member or friend seemed out of the ordinary to you? Do you think they're living with a mental illness but are scared of suggesting that they seek professional help?
The first step to action is awareness, and this video tells you the symptoms of some common mental health issues as told to us by experts. It also tells you what you can do if someone you know is living with a mental illness.
Some of the most common mental illnesses today are depression and anxiety in both children and adults. Other illnesses include schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. In children, learning disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and autism spectrum disorder are common.
So what are the signs you look out for? Any sudden change in behavior, such as an increase or decrease in appetite or sleep, a drastic dip in their performance at school or work, or conversely, a sudden burst in activity, a feeling of hopelessness and helplessness, an intense fear of losing control of situations, bursts of anger and irritability, when they start disengaging from people, or when things that once used to capture their attention no longer interest them, or the belief that their lives are in danger and they start communicating with people you know are not a part of their lives.
Remember, tension, sadness, and worry are part and parcel of life. For example, grieving a lost loved one is different from being depressed. However, it is when the duration, frequency, and intensity of these feelings does not decrease over time and starts affecting your day-to-day functions is when it becomes a mental illness. So say you spot these symptoms in someone you love. What do? How do you approach them, and how do you ensure that they get help? For starters, communication is key. Tell them that you care about them. Say that you believe their version of events, even if you don't.
When it comes to kids, parents may not take it too well if you tell them that their child potentially has a mental illness. So what you could do instead is tell them that they're having difficulty grasping a subject and to go to a professional before it becomes any worse. Experts say that parents are usually more open to this line. Depending on the age and temperament of the child, you could also tell them that we're going to a friend or to a doctor to help you study better or concentrate better.
For adults, if they are resistant to seeking professional help, you may tell them that you have a problem and you are seeking help, and they can accompany you. Inform the expert about the same in advance. Bear in mind that this is only to get them to see a professional for the first time. You cannot force them to take medication or continue seeing the doctor. If a person's workplace is open to mental health issues, you can tell them to speak to their supervisor, who can then check in on them until they learn to manage the mental illness on their own.
Under the Mental Healthcare Act 2017, everyone is guaranteed access to mental health care in a humane way. So in extreme cases, if someone poses a threat to themselves and others around them and is refusing to take help, you may move the court in such a situation and ensure they're referred to a professional. Also check if you can be of financial assistance to them and be of support in whatever way possible.
These are some of the common mental illnesses and the symptoms that you can look out for. Depression is fairly common in adults as well as children. A depressed person may have a persistently low mood and overwhelming feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. They may avoid talking to people or social situations and lack the motivation to do basic tasks such as maintaining hygiene and cleanliness. In children, depression may not manifest as a sad mood. They may show irritability and aggression instead.
Anxiety is characterized by heightened worry and the magnification of small problems. A person with anxiety may be so consumed with the idea of losing control that they may avoid social interactions altogether. Physical symptoms too may be present, but this is seen more in children than in adults. Severe anxiety could lead to depression in some cases, but the two are not always mutually inclusive.
Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, is where a person will have one thought that constantly circles in their mind. They may feel the need to do one thing repetitively, for example, washing their hands again and again or checking if the lights are on or off. While it's not uncommon for people to have rituals, people with OCD have no control over these compulsions and do not derive any pleasure from them.
Schizophrenia is a serious psychiatric disorder where the person may start hallucinating or holding on to false beliefs. They may start talking to themselves, or they may start referring to people you know are not a part of their lives. They may even tell you that these people are asking them to do certain things.
Bipolar mood disorder is where a person alternates between extremely depressive episodes and manic highs where they have sudden spurts of energy. While it can vary, the manic highs can last between 3 to 6 months and the depressive episodes from 6 to 12 months.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is common amongst children. The signs include the inability to sit still in one place, extreme restlessness, a very short attention span, and impulsive behavior with little or no thought to the consequences of their actions. Other signs include demanding behavior and irritability on the part of the child.
Experts say that learning disorder is a spectrum. It can be specific, where a child has difficulty in learning one subject, or the child's intellectual development may not be age appropriate. Common symptoms include mirror writing, where a child continues writing C as E, B as D, 6 as 9, and so on. They may also be unable to complete notes or make repetitive spelling errors.
There is a lot of stigma associated with mental health and going to an expert. But just like how you would go to a doctor for a fever, mental health too is treatable and manageable. And going to a professional and taking medication for your mental health is perfectly normal. This is Jyotsna Raman with Geetika Mantri for the News Minute.